Gutter Trash is a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
After a train bombing in a small Kansas town, a private detective agency works alongside the Secret Service to track down the suspected terrorist John Harden, who was framed for the crime and is searching for the real culprits in Eddie Campbell's Black Diamond Detective Agency.
Hey, welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 137, Black Diamond Detective Agency.
My name is Jace. Welcome. Welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a week.
Yep.
Has it been a week?
Mm-hmm. Usually.
Usually, yeah. How's the brain working today? Mine's not.
Not at all.
Because of the heat?
I guess. Heat, hunger, something weird just happened in my throat right before we started this.
Oh.
So, all sorts of things.
Nefarious
that aren't
activity,
good, that are making this go down as one of the worst shows we've ever done already.
Oh, it always gets worse. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the heat. It's like 90 something.
Yeah.
It's like being locked in a sweaty gym sock for hours. That's what it feels like when you walk around out there.
Yeah. At least it's not humid. It's not terribly humid.
No.
No.
Not too bad.
If it was humid, it's a bullshit thing that people say, but it really is the humidity. It's the humidity that bothers me.
Yeah.
More than anything else. 4th of July was this past Monday. I was over at my parents' house for a small cookout thing. And it rained a little bit. And when I left the house, my mom walked outside with me and she was like, "Oh, it's nice out." I was like, "No, it's not." I mean, it was like in the 70s, but it was super fucking humid.
Right.
And it was just melty.
Yeah, when it finally stopped, like, exploding, the sky, and I could actually take my dog out because she's petrified of fireworks.
Right.
And when I finally took her out, there was, like, this crazy haze in the air from all the, like, sulfur or whatever that's in the fireworks. And,
It's just called humidity.
oh no, there was firework residue. You could smell it and see it, and that was, like, making me sneeze.
And it's just called brimstone.
Brimstone?
Yeah.
The devil?
You are in hell.
Oh. I thought when you smell brimstone, it just means Kurt Wagner is around.
I don't listen to opera. I don't understand the thing you're talking about.
Oh, Chopin, none of that. Was it brimstone or was it like patchouli? What is it? When he's around you smell. It wasn't brimstone. I don't know. I can't remember
Do you actually want me to be serious here for a second?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I honestly can't remember though.
Because if we are still talking about Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
then yes, it's brimstone.
Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking it's something that I've actually smelled before, and I don't think I've ever smelled brimstone.
Yeah, I don't think it exists.
I don't know. They've mentioned it in the Bible and X-Men. And those are the two
things that don't exist.
things you can trust overall.
May I point out X-Men 3 and The Passion of the Christ.
Both amazing films. But I've seen maybe 2 minutes of Passion of the Christ, and that was 2 minutes too much.
I've seen the trailer.
Yeah. I saw clips on me and my brother actually. This is interesting because, I believe in the God and he does not. And we watched these atheist TV show together that's streaming on Netflix. I forget what it's called, like Atheist Diaries or Atheist something or other.
So they'll just put any old crap on Netflix then.
It was actually pretty entertaining. It was like these two old guys that are like, one of them was like an atheist philosopher or something. The other one's just like an atheist writer, and they were funny and like cute because they were like white-haired old men, so who you don't expect to be atheists because you know they're knocking on heaven's door or smelling the brimstone in their case because they're atheists. But it was pretty entertaining actually. Hey. So, you want to talk about this book?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Let's get the show over with.
Black Diamond Detective Agency.
Yeah, Eddie Campbell.
Now, did it say it was based on a movie or a screenplay or something?
Based on a screenplay, unproduced screenplay.
Okay.
Which is weird, because the guy who wrote it, C. Gabby Mitchell, something like that, wrote the movie Blood Diamond and Get Low.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Really? He wrote Get Low.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard of Blood Diamond, but...
So, it's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio
Oh, really?
and Jimon Hansu.
I'll have to see that.
I've never heard good things about it.
Well, the crowd you run with, though. They don't know shit. Shit. I like Leo Dio.
I could leave him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not me. I love him. You leave him. Love him and leave him.
Yeah. No. This is the worst show ever. This is the worst show ever. Yeah, I don't like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Even in what was it, Shutter Island? It was great in Shutter
Never
Island.
saw that.
Oh, okay.
Because I already figured out everything about it without ever seeing it.
From the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it pays to be a dumb guy like me. I don't get the figuring out.
I don't feel like talking loud. I don't feel like talking.
Yeah.
Talk about this book.
Black Diamond Detective Agency.
Yeah. Blood Diamond.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that would have been a good crossover.
That'd be, I don't want to see that movie. I would see Black Diamond Detective Agency, though, as a movie.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd prefer to see it as a movie.
Yeah.
Because it did not work as a comic.
Really?
Oh, not at all.
Why didn't it work as a comic?
Eddie Campbell's art style.
You mean like
Eddie Campbell's choice to not put borders over word balloons so that they all just sort of melt into each other and you have no idea who's talking or what anyone is actually saying.
I never get confused by his word balloon thing.
Well, then you probably read it wrong.
Yeah.
Because I had to reread this thing like twice.
There was a couple of scenes where I didn't know who was talking because they're really tiny. Like when the Secret Service guy first comes in and he meets the sheriff or whatever, and there's like 5 people in the panel and they're all really tiny. I'm like, I can't tell who is.
There's all that too.
Yeah.
All the characters have varying shapes of facial hair.
Some hats.
Some hats. Well, pretty much all of them wear hats.
Yeah.
Trench coats. Some wear glasses, some don't. There's 2 guys with gray hair with very similar beards.
Right.
They're apparently 2 different people because I saw them talking together. I didn't know which one was talking because the word balloons were mushed together with no clear distinction which one belonged to who.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes the word balloon tails would blend into the background, so you could almost get a sense of where it was pointing, but then you just lose it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, all the characters sort of just look alike. Eddie Campbell doesn't really paint and great detail.
He's a very minimalist kind of artist.
It's very muddy. I think this would have been suited to him doing just pen and ink.
Like his From Hell style. Yeah.
So as a painted book, I don't think it works.
Mm-hmm.
As a sequential book, it's got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Mostly on the technical angle, just all in the execution. It was just poorly executed.
No. See, I dug it. I didn't think it was his best work. And I know what you're saying, like, his style does lend itself for more, like things that are less, less dependent on, like, intricacies,
Yeah.
like Who's Who. Like, in the From Hell, obviously, Who's Who because, like, you either have, like, a surgeon killer or you have, like, a prostitute or you have a cop. But, yeah, I see what you're saying about the characters in this one. They all do sort of share a lot of the same,
Traits.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want you to get me wrong on this, but the story was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I really want to see this as the movie it was apparently intended
Right.
to be.
I like how, like, I don't want to totally spoil the ending, but I like how, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bleak ending at all, but it's, like, not your typical, like, everything is wrapped up and, like, everybody is, like, doing what you would hope they would be doing, and...
It's a noir ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
I follow Ed Brubaker on Twitter. I mostly find him to be pretty pompous and question why I follow him sometimes.
Right.
But he does occasionally post things that he calls noir lessons. And he posted one recently that a happy ending in a noir is when your hero loses almost everything.
Makes sense. Well, this one too, I mean, he didn't really lose everything, but, like, there was, like, hints along the story that, he's gonna go on a different route or, like,
Right.
Maybe fall in love or, like,
Yeah. But he gets exactly what he wants, and it turns out that perhaps that's not for the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the characters pretty much wind up in the same way.
Yeah.
Or at
Yeah.
least the
Yeah.
ones with names.
Yeah. I
Speaking roles.
I do love his artwork. I love how, like, it almost sounds like this would be insulting, but how, like, kind of stiff a lot of people look in his artwork, and it's not like, I don't think it's because he doesn't know how to draw movement. I think it's more like he's influenced by a style it just seems like he's influenced by stuff that's 100 years old, Like, a lot of it looks like old photography and old, I don't know, just like old paintings and whatnot. Like, he's got a very, like, not modern looking style. I think that's what makes him that, I don't know, drawing me in, I guess. I always want to see everything he's doing because he's got a unique style.
Yes, I'm not terribly a fan. I don't have anything against him or his style. It's just not anything that I'm genuinely interested in or ever really want to seek out. Like, I know he does good work. I know he's a good writer.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like, the two best things I've ever seen him draw were, like, 2 issues of Captain America he did in the mid-2000s.
Wow. I can't even remember that. I remember he did a Batman story. Yeah, I don't even remember the Captain America ones. But, yeah, From Hell definitely, I think, is his, like, shining moment. At least for me.
And it's probably the one thing in his career that he'll be best remembered for, even though he's done hundreds of other things.
His Bacchus stuff's really good, too. And I'm not like a super fan of mythology or anything, but those are really good.
He's been doing that for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So.
And he does the autobio stuff too, but it's very different. Like, it's really strange.
Right.
It's almost like a diary, but it's almost like he's writing like a play, like a comedy play, with his slice of life, thrown in there. But I don't know. I think he's just a super unique artist and writer. Like you said, his writing's good.
Yeah. I know he was once was supposed to do a run on Hellblazer, but that only lasted like 3 or 4 issues.
Just writing.
Yeah. I don't know what happened or why he left it, but the issues he did were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a unique talent.
Just, you don't think this one really just missed the mark?
I think the execution of it was all wrong.
I like how there was one shot towards one spread or whatever towards the beginning of a book whenever the train wreck happens.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazingly well done, and how it got across that the main character was right near the wreck, but he wasn't in the train or whatever.
Right.
But he can't hear anything for a couple of pages, and I thought that was done really well. People are moving their mouth, but nothing's happening, and I thought that worked as far as getting that across.
Yeah, I mean there are moments in the book that I think are good, but I think they're just too few,
Mm-hmm.
too far between. But I mean, like I said, story-wise, I thought it was an interesting story, one that I don't know, just I got confused a lot while reading it, but I mean, it all paid off in the end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's like I keep going back to the fact that it was an unproduced screenplay.
Right.
That, perhaps it would be better suited for that.
I really do. I think we talked about this after we read the Selena's Big Score.
Yeah.
I really like, I mean, this is not really a heist story though.
No.
It's more like a mystery and set around a heist.
Right.
Because the heist is you don't really see it.
Right.
But I could still see this being maybe better served as a movie.
Right.
Just the type of the genre and the characters. I think film movement is really really good for this sort of old school I don't know, train robbery kind of.
Yeah, it's like a weird Western noir almost.
Yeah. And a mystery too.
Huh?
And a mystery.
I would say mysteries kind of fit into the noir type of genre.
Yeah.
It's essentially a heist story in which none of the main characters are involved in the heist.
Right. Yeah. It's more like putting the pieces together.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I will say too, in the negative category, I did read this twice, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because, it just, it didn't make sense or anything. It was just I wanted to clarify, because like you said, some of the characters, I was getting slightly confused. I was like, is that, I forget the guy's name, the Secret Service guy or the sheriff, but, so I did read it twice, and there was one scene that, and I think this is something that he kind of does in his stories sometimes. He just chooses really strange ways of depicting things. There's a scene where a guy creeps in a window, and he shoots somebody, and then you're supposed to realize that there was a guy hiding under the bed, and I had to read that scene 3 times because I didn't realize that the guy was hiding under the bed.
Yeah, I had to reread that one a few times as well. I reread that a bunch of times. I reread the opening sequence of the book 4 times.
Right.
Up through the train explosion and all that. I was I don't understand like the character gets arrested and thrown in jail, and like I had to reread the whole sequence where he breaks out.
Right. Yeah. I just think he has an odd, like he chooses odd things to depict to represent the action or whatever.
Right.
And again, like, I don't think it's necessarily like, I mean, sometimes it can be a stumbling block to follow the story, but I honestly think it's just like a stylistic choice because he just makes everything, I don't know, it just looks like he's basing everything on old photography or just the way everybody's so stilted and in those old photos, where everybody had to sit still for like half an hour to get their photo taken. Like, I don't know, it reminds me of that. And
one might say that he's just a bad artist.
I don't think he's a bad artist though. But it is sometimes problematic to understand what he's, the flow of his narrative, I guess. Sometimes it interrupts that.
Well, this is, other than the 2 issues of Captain America that he drew, the only thing that I've actually ever read all the way through that he's ever drawn. So I can't,
But you've read parts of From Hell.
I have read like the first 100 pages of From Hell like 17 times.
Yeah.
And as far as I've ever gotten on it. I mean, I had similar problems with some of his storytelling and his style in that book, but not to the point of this. Because I think with that being just line art, everything is a little more clearer and delineated.
Plus, it's Alan Moore, so like
Yeah.
the angle of every feather is excruciatingly detailed in the scripts. So yeah, and maybe he does need for something that's a little more complex, because like I said, his autobio stuff's usually pretty light. It's pretty like it's just funny, or it's just stories, slice of life stories. So maybe when he's doing something more complex, he needs somebody that would kind of spell out things like Alan Moore would to make it legible or more legible.
Right.
I can see that.
I think one of the worst culprits in this book was the action sequence. Kind of towards the end, but
The gunshot train station thing.
Yeah. Like I could follow it for like maybe the first page or so, and then after that it just got worse and worse, and characters wound up getting shot that I had like no idea who the fuck they were.
There was a scene there, or a couple panels where there was a guy, like, I finally figured out that he was supposed to be just standing by the train and posing as a luggage checker or something. Like, I couldn't figure out if he was on the train or like running to the train or what. I had to read that twice. Yeah. I mean, maybe we are just dumb, but that's possible.
I'm giving us more credit than that
on this one.
when it comes to this book.
At least on this one. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're both having similar problems to it, then yeah, it's the book's fault,
Right.
and not ours.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the story itself, the plot, and everything is not that entirely complicated.
Right. I mean, it's not like a children's book, but it's
No,
yeah.
But it's not a labyrinthine puzzle.
Right. Right.
It's
There's a little bit of intrigue and mystery and
Right.
second guessing, but characters switching sides. But yeah, I'll agree with that. It's definitely not his best work, I would say, but I think it's worth reading.
I don't think it's worth buying.
Well, I stole it from the library.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Actually, I probably will return this one to the shelf at Mavericks and let somebody else buy it.
Still damaged.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
A little wraparound thing.
Oh, I usually throw those away anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get the point of those things.
Yeah, they're these little. They basically cover a fourth of the of the dust jacket,
Yeah.
and it has some artwork on it. So I mean, you don't want to just toss it, but it's
Right.
mostly just reviews, like praising, the book. And they do tear really easily.
Yeah.
What do they call those things? Little ribbon things.
I don't know. Because they're not protecting anything, so it's not for that.
Yeah.
It
You know,
doesn't fit in with the design of the actual cover.
I love the cover design. Like, I think that's great.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so much like one of those old, like,
Wanted posters.
or like those ads for, like, revitalizing
Yeah,
waters.
yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It doesn't really fit with that. But, And he had to draw Dead Hooker. Always does. It's kind of his signature move.
Well, Alan Moore wrote that sequence, but then had his name removed from the credits.
Yeah. Oh, there's even here's a good example. There's a couple of panels, like on in page 33 and 37, where he actually has a box pointing to something, telling you what it is. And I did actually think that when I saw the second one, I was like, why does he have to keep telling you what things are?
Right.
This is a comic book.
Yeah.
And you just draw it. And maybe he reread it or had somebody read it, and they're like, what's going on here, Ed? I know he is a wine connoisseur, so maybe he drinks a little bit too much wine before he sits down at the drawing table.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if they ever make a movie, we should watch that.
I'll watch it. Definitely.
You
Who
won't.
knows, maybe it'll be a it'll only get made as a movie because it's already been a comic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're like, comics are successful.
Yeah.
That new relaunch of DC a few months ago was gangbusters. we were looking at that about our orders on the ordering all the new DC stuff because they're due in like a week or two, and they've got this deal where they're returnable, but basically we have to order. It averages out to like 50 something copies of every book
Right.
in order to have them be returnable.
Yeah.
And the most we don't sell 50 something copies of most DC books as it is. I mean, there might be a couple like Batman or something, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so they can, the positive side would be, to look at it like, the half full side would say, they're trying to get people to take a chance on things that their customers will definitely appreciate, and the demand will be stronger than the retailers anticipate. But the other side of the coin is like it looks really good. Like, look at our sales. Like look at all these books we sold.
Yep. It's all smoke and mirrors.
That's right. Totally is. And explosions.
And explosions. Like this book.
Yeah. Explosions on the train. Under the train. Was it under the train?
Under the train.
Yeah, under the train.
Alright. Let's take a break, I guess. Or you can just pick a movie and we'll go.
Either way.
I got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
So,
We can have an abbreviated episode, I guess.
yeah.
Well, I can pick my movie.
Alright.
Rubber.
Alright.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
You told me about it a few weeks ago, I think, even on here, I believe. Or maybe it was just a drawing night.
Maybe. I don't know.
And it sounded ridiculous.
Yeah. It's about a killer tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you happened to get it from Netflix.
Yes, it did.
And I was like, fuck, let's just pick that.
Alright. Sounds good. I will
Yeah.
not veto that because I did get it from Netflix. And that would be retarded.
Like, I don't want to watch that. Just because it's in my queue at the top.
It in my house.
We could watch The Atheist Diaries instead.
It's
Oh, and that's what I was going to say, though. We watched The Atheist Diaries or The Atheist Tapes or whatever, and then we were still kind of like talking back and forth about what our views on it, and then we even watched this other documentary. It was just like an hour-long documentary this guy made who went to some sort of Catholic. It wasn't just a Catholic school. It was like an indoctrination type of school, like a college, but a college that didn't really teach you much about the real world. It was only really about religion. Yeah. And he was really into it, but then when he got out, he kind of started rethinking his whole life, and he went back to interview him, and it was kind of Michael Moore-ish, where you could tell he had an agenda, and he was like kind of angry at the school, which is probably understandable. But it was interesting though. It was like, I can't think of what it's called, like religions. It wasn't religious, but I can't remember. It was streaming on Netflix though, and it was interesting. I like those type of documentaries, but not as much as I'll probably like Rubber.
All right then. Sorry, folks.
Oh, no one's still around. No one's listening to this.
Good. And goodbye.
You can subscribe to Gutter Trash at iTunes or directly at guttertrash.net. If you go to iTunes, please leave us a review. You can email us at eric@guttertrash.net or jason@guttertrash.net. For more info, you can find us on Facebook, or you can go to seanborn.net or buyerbeware.guttertrash.net. Listen to our sister podcast, League Night, at league.guttertrash.net. Thank you for listening. Until next time.